Morning and welcome to Trading with Larry Benedict, joined by the zero-star General Eric Shamilov. Good morning, Eric. Lot to talk about on a macro Monday. Where's the hat? Dude, you're all
No hat
dressed up.
today.
You had a
No
meeting?
hat today. It depends on my mood in the morning.
Excellent. I hope you had a good weekend. Hope all watching had a good weekend. A lot to talk about on macro land. A trade that I'm seeing that I want to start off with that I think is going to extend here is the Treasury trade, um, all the way out to 30 years. Even this morning, when I woke up, bonds were higher. They were actually higher this morning. They reversed that, smacked that, and now we're basically on the low of the day. Um, Not a crazy move, 8 pips or 8 ticks, I'm sorry, 8 ticks. The 10 year is having a bigger down move, actually, about 6 ticks. None of this is crazy outlandish, but right now, I believe we have the 10 year above. We do. We have it at almost 472. High to move is 470. 475, 474.8. That's going to be breached. And bonds around the world, which is really what's leading us. If you look at the Bund in Germany, almost 3.25. Gilts are even higher, exploding. And the one that's the most mystifying one on a 52-week high yield is the JGB. I don't know if that is a complete unwind, but it's something pretty bad. That, along with the currency, is a disturbing move. I'm looking in 2019, this was minus like 3, okay, going into 20. So big moves across the board. These are moves that no one is paying attention to. Um, you know, um,
Do you
you
think
know,
that? Do you think nobody's paying attention to them because the rates are trickling up rather than exploding up?
I think no one's paying attention because no one cares. It has zero to do with what the algorithmic computer is going to do today to the market. No one, back in our day, when I say our day, back in the day where there was no algorithm and no, basically, I don't know, linked up trading, this would be one of the things that we would look at and be concerned with the US market. But you can't be because, you got a computer buying X to sell Y to buy Z to buy whatever. And I don't know. Anyway, there's like a headline about OpenAI losing all their people. Um, Changes all across the board there. And I guess the CEO or one of the guys is brushing it off. It's no big deal. So I don't know. I mean, what we know is that two companies are spending all the money in AI, Anthropic and OpenAI. So we'll see how that plays out. But I want to kind of stick to this macro thematic thing. And,
Yeah,
I think.
we had a weak bond auction last week that got rates even higher. But at the same time, you have the Fed fund odds at 30% this morning for September. So how's the long end going up?
What does that matter? Actually, it actually makes tons of sense. Finally, it doesn't matter if they raise it this meeting or next meeting or in 4 meetings. Rates are heading up. The Fed is irrelevant. That's the one key thing right here that Donald Trump doesn't realize. He's like thinking he can control rates, low rates. He can't. Fed funds can only do what Fed funds can do. I mean, there are other tools they could use, but that that one is not going to get long rates down right now, as you can see, a massive steepening in the curve. Which is a better thing, and in general, it's a better place to live. Um, you know, um, we'll start out with a couple of questions. One, it says, I don't talk about the DAX anymore. I always talk about the DAX. DAX is busted out to all time highs. And, I was doing some reading this weekend and it's actually kind of making sense, right? Who's been left behind in the AI trade? It's really Europe, right? But Europe is not spending outlandish cash and crazy amounts of money all over the board, and they're going to benefit from AI. So I think the market is seeing that as a real positive. They're going to get the benefits of AI without doing what the U.S. is doing, which is going to eventually probably blow itself up with the amount of with the amount of spending. So, listen, DAX is on fire. It's been on fire. I don't like it here for a trade. I think it's probably a short, but, it's not really in the repertoire of what I'm looking at right now to get through today's trading day. Um, Next question, and then we'll get back to the macro. When do we start shorting the market? I mean, I think yesterday, but that's me. You think the market's going higher, so I don't know. So
Only yesterday. Only yesterday.
only yesterday.
Maybe like before yesterday.
Well, before yesterday, and then cover, and then short, and cover, and it's weird. It's just a weird market for 15 trading days. Nasdaq underperformed the S&P. Now we're on 10 trading days of the Nasdaq outperforming the S&P, and you don't know when they're going to flip the switch. So maybe later today, could be tomorrow or whenever. But
Well,
you know,
the overnight futures session came out strong and steady, and basically the entire session is gone and retraced. Not the Nasdaq yet, but
but
that doesn't
time,
bode
but
well.
time,
That
but
doesn't
time.
bode well for the day.
Oh yeah, okay, dude. I don't even think it tells any story of what today could be. If we could end on the high or we could end on the low. I don't know, but yeah, obviously taking it in a little bit here makes it a little bit more palatable to be short. But if we had this podcast starting at 8 o'clock when the S&P was up 13, you'd be throwing the
Not
towel
saying,
in
not
today.
saying that, not saying that. Right.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the market came in 12 spook points or 14. That's not a lot on what we have here. We're trading a $7,800 product. You're talking about 10 or 15 or 20 bips. The market's up 15, 16 for the year. I mean, come on, dude.
Well, I think what the question from the chat was really about was not the overnight, although I threw it in there. I think it's more like when are we gonna, be able to aggressively sit on a short, be confident in it, build a position where the market is about to make a big move to the downside. And what do you think that?
Wow. Probably, I don't know. Could be today, could be early September. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. We're down $1.25. They've literally circled the Air National Guard to come in and save the market. I mean, it's kind of weird. And somehow the Nasdaq's up 65. It's probably some stock. I don't know. What is it? SanDisk today? It's something. It's some. I saw Micron's back to 1,000. Okay, that's pretty crazy, right? Up about 30% off the low in 2.5 weeks. So we've had some really big moves, but the concerning move to me is the bond market. Um, you know, Bonds are on the low tick of the day. You got to turn the ringer off, dude. The low tick of the day, which is weird. It's very, very weird. The 10-year acts terribly. And maybe this is going to be the one. Maybe this is the one time we get above 475 here and then maybe accelerate. I mean, there's got to be a number. There's just got to be a number. The money that has been made in the equity markets is off the chart, right? Now you could take your money and throw it into the bond market, which you're guaranteed, unless the government defaults, a return of 5%. What's wrong with that? That's basically the historical S&P without any of this crazy AI mania that's going on. So, at some point they're going to look to asset allocate to that. It's just not exciting and not today. Looking at oil, another macro place that we live and trade and look at for clues to trade the equity markets. Oil's up a little, 67 cents, not even a percent, nothing going on there.
I would lean more bullish on it than bearish here
On what, oil?
on oil.
Mm. I'm not really sure. I think it's very news related. I think the ceasefire actually, not that there is a ceasefire, but I think it ends today, right? Or tomorrow. It ends. It ended, but it actually officially ends. I think we're stuck. Listen, what is it? The U.S. Abraham Lincoln. It's like a cesspool. There's garbage spewing. People are going out of their mind. They've been on that thing for the longest period of time in history. They're swapping it out, but they don't have a lot of weaponry, dude. Think about it. How do they, let's say they start out on that ship with 500 bombs. I don't even know if that's a lot or a little, but it sounds like a lot. They fired all those bombs, dude. He hit sand 500 times, dude. And now they're going, yo, you got no weapons. And that's why we're holding up and where we're at. And it's very hard to feed a ship weapons. So I don't, I think it's pretty bad all around. I don't see how this ends. I heard the Strait of Hormuz traffic is at the lowest level since the beginning of the war. Nobody cares about that, but I don't think any ships are going through, or very few. You can count them on your hand. So here we are with that. Nobody cares about that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about, you know,
The
basically.
refiners, though, oil's kind of stuck, but refining stocks are continuing to explode. Um, I think they're the best performing sector this month. I mean, huge, huge, and they're just continuing to go. I think that's a place to kind of sit in uh, on a momentum.
And how about this? Let's talk another macro. Let's get,
And
we
the
have a,
beauty of them is they're kind of uncorrelated to oil. Like you see oil dropping, and the refiners keep going up.
dude, listen to me. I've been trading those for the last 40 years. Okay. Yeah, it does until it doesn't. Okay. Now you're going to say it's uncorrelated. They go up no matter what. Okay. They go up until they don't go up. And then they go straight down. And then there's a price in oil, which I believe we're
Too
pretty
high.
much at. I think we're pretty much at this price. If we stay here for a long period of time, it's going to impact the economy and the refiners. So, you're treading a fine line, and the trade's been working, and it's just part of whatever. So, keep riding it. And we'll see what happens. But I'd like to talk on currencies. We're actually for our OFX currency wizard product, we're in a long dollar position against the euro, and it's not exploding, but it's not working. Dollars at the low of the move. Someone wrote in and asked about the yen today. I would say, the yen is sitting. It hasn't really moved. It traded 163 and change. Then they had the intervention. It got down to 157, and we got back to about 160. So 160 is the line in the sand. If it gets above that, they're going to have to intervene again. But we're at 159.23. I don't see much of a trade in here today. The range on the overnight has only been 40 or 50 pips. So I don't see a trade there. Um, we have a couple of other questions. One question says, Bitcoin is under the 200 days, so how can IBIT look good? Well, it can't. It can't look good.
Why'd you get long IBIT?
No, no,
Oh,
no. But I was looking to do it. I literally thought, it's funny, I thought that this thing was acting well relatively when our market was coming apart. And then as our market, basically came back, Bitcoin didn't do anything. So right now, it actually held over the weekend. It got down into the 62 and change handle. Now it's 63 and a half. So maybe it's okay. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a no trade. I don't think anyone's paying much attention to it, but, you know, this is,
option grave. Yeah, the options on IBIT are option graveyard stuff. They
well,
don't
dude,
like
you have like a $30 stock. I mean, it's not, what do you expect? They want to be in Micron, which moves 100 points a day. Why? Nobody cares about this. But, you know,
What do you think of the tape this morning? You got Micron, STX, so hardware memory up.
I don't think
Other than that, the market kind of looks weak. Kind of.
market doesn't look weak. Market doesn't look like anything. For a Monday morning, we're like dead. I've been saying this and I truly believe this for right now, and I don't understand it because I've been trading it my entire career from when it started. Under $100 is the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is a utility. Does not move, dude. Does not move. We have like a blow up day where it goes up 100, which is only 1.25%, right? That's like blow up to the upside, right? Um, and then every other day it just sits and doesn't do anything. It just sits and sits. Am I wrong? Do you see it sitting and sitting every day? Sit,
Yeah.
sit. Nasdaq could be down 100 or up 100, and S&P doesn't move a lot. So this is what we have. We have a utility. Everybody's in this thing. It will change, but right now you have to show ultimate patience. I know you're like that grizzly bear sitting in the cage, like waiting for the food. You think we're crashing.
I'm always waiting for the food.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying, you think we're crashing and nothing is
No,
really.
I don't. I think this is going to be, I don't know, kind of a quiet week, but to the downside a little bit. I think we'll get a couple of green days. I'm sure they're going to try to buy them, but there's no economic news this week, and you have Nvidia reporting next week. As we head in now, September might be different. End of August, end of the
Dude,
month might be
I'll
different.
just say this week will not be quiet. Will
Why do you
not.
say so?
Because I think we're coming into the end of the summer. I think, especially on the lower East Coast, all kids are back in school. They start today. So, people that were on summer breakdown in South Florida, where we are back at their desk. Obviously, it's after Labor Day, which comes late this year for East Coast schools. But overall, I think this week starts whatever we're going to have. We're going to have some volatility. I don't know how it's coming out or what's coming out, but I think we'll have a little vol this week. And then I think we're going to get into a period of more vol as we come into the end of the year. Again,
At the money straddle for Friday, not for today, for Friday, is trading at like 65.
okay,
65. So,
okay. So you should buy it.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, that looks like a good trade. You sell today at 35 and you buy Friday at 65. That
Okay,
sounds.
tell me more about that. Now you're talking. What does that mean? Explain to us.
What do you mean? You're selling volatility or the straddle for today, thinking that the market isn't going to move more than, I don't know, where is the straddle? 27? I saw it was like 28, 27. You sell that. You have to buy wings around it, so it changes up the trade a little bit, but you can sell that today, taking that premium. Okay, and let's say it closes at $10, you make basically $17. The other straddle won't move. It's 65. That's pretty low. Maybe it goes to 63. You take in $15. Now you own that Friday straddle for $34, and then you come in tomorrow, you can look at the straddle again and sell a $30 straddle.
and keep the Friday open, right? The
Right,
whole.
and now you go Tuesday, Friday. Now
Would
you've
you just
taken
go
in.
consecutive days? Would you sell like in this kind of environment? Would you sell today's and buy tomorrow's? Then
No, you just
reverse
said
that.
that. No, I like the trade that you said. It gives you 4 days. And
Yep.
then during that 4 days, you could sell Monday, Tuesday, you could even sell Wednesday. And then if you get the move Thursday, Friday, you score. You kill it. You bring the straddle price down to $20. If, you know, if you don't get the move today or tomorrow. I'm not, listen, I'm not so convinced. Um, I mean, this
Very
market.
interesting. I like very interesting strategy, by the way. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, been doing that forever. There's a lot of different things that you could do in low vol. Low vol is too low. Again,
Do you
nothing's
feel like
happening.
you score more when vol is low or when vol is high?
Low, low.
Yep.
But this has been a very difficult year because, like you said, the straddle is 20 something dollars, and to move $20 on a $8,000 instrument is zero. It's nothing. So that's the problem that you have in the market right now is you have straddles pricing so low, and inherent volatility over the week isn't as high as it actually is for the day. So your $65 straddle on a move today of 50 points will not hurt you, but your short volatility for today's straddle will kill you. Okay? Because listen, I remember I think it was I think it was the fourth of the 3rd of January, we were pricing a straddle at $25. It went out at $135. Okay? So, that's enough to kill you. So you got to be very, very careful. Again, I don't see anything going on here. I don't even know what, like, gold is holding its gain at 44.40. Okay, which is a
Yeah,
crazy number.
it's been kind of flat for the last 3, 4 days, 5 days even.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to rally. I mean, that's what they do. This is what they do in SPOO. They hold it, hold it, hold it, and then they explode it. Hold it, hold it, hold it, explode it. But I mean, listen, we're in uncharted territory, both in S&P and Nasdaq, and the broad market. And I mean, they're pricing for, I'm going to just say, utter perfection, better than perfection. So we'll see.
What do you think about financials here? I mean, JPMorgan has had a very nice up move here. Daily chart places it.
Good. It's parabolic, okay, since 2023 from $80 to $360, okay? But the problem is the market cap. Guess what a market cap is?
On JP Morgan.
Mm-hmm. Don't
Uh,
guess because you're going to be off, okay? I'm sure
I
you've
was.
looked.
I'll be honest. I was going to say half a trillion, but it's actually 1 trillion.
Right. So it's 960-ish trillion. You know it's going to be the first bank to trade 1 trillion. So why would you short the thing? You know it's going to trade a trillion.
I like it there. Unable to break that Bollinger to the upside. I see a lot of opportunities across the market using a daily Bollinger because everything seems to be in some sort of range here, and it's like the market takes turns favoring one against the other, which pushes stuff up against your volatility bands and rinse and repeat. Start shorting those, buying the stuff that got hit to the downside. JP Morgan is something that got pushed to the upside here. So I put a toe in the water on Friday on
You
some.
did. You did. That's impressive. Um, all right. I mean, I'm not playing that name. I mean, dude, it's a
Really, what I'm hunting for is Goldman Sachs to the downside. That's the one I'm really hunting for.
why do you think these companies are doing badly
I don't
when
think they're doing badly, but I think Jeffrey Gundlach crystallized exactly what I think in on Twitter over the weekend. He's like, there are declarations of new asset classes coming, and that's something Clinton and I discussed. Uh, Jensen called compute a new asset class, and you had Apollo next to him, cheerleading that thought on. And he's like new asset classes involving financial innovation abetted abetted by questionable ratings. And it's not 2008 yet, but this is the kind of stuff that leads to 2008 when the institutions start playing around with stuff with questionable ratings, masquerading as perfect ratings, calling things new asset classes and new financial innovation. So, Goldman's part of that in a big way. Uh,
Eric, listen, we both know that the market is in probably one of the biggest bubbles we've ever seen. Okay, that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to really navigate A through today and then B maybe through the week. I mean, I don't even want to get to the week. Like you're getting to, you're already saying this week is dead. I don't know how you know that this week is dead. This week could be the most volatile week of the year. Nobody knows. And it doesn't have to do with data. I mean, the data is fake. Okay. We had unemployment that lasted literally less than 3 minutes. Okay. No one even talked about it. You couldn't even tell me what it was. Okay. So none of the data really means anything. CPI was good, but was it really good? I mean, nobody cares. We're way past. Is anyone talking about CPI or PPI or any number? No, it's just good for 40 spoo handles for that day, or maybe they get lucky and it's 60 or 80 or down. But after that, the next day, nobody cares about any of this information. It's just what are they going to do today? Are they going to buy the Nasdaq more, which is going to take the S&P up, or are they going to sell the Nasdaq off that sells the S&P off, or are they going to sell the Nasdaq off and buy the S&P? It's just you have to figure out what this computer algorithm is going to do. And that's really the day, unfortunately, is figuring out where where the money is hiding or what they want to have happen today. Or, it's funny on Friday.
yeah, you're describing it correctly. That's exactly, and I think all week we're gonna have that.
But it was funny. A friend of mine called me on Friday at the opening, and the SPU was ripping up a little, and like Zero Hedge, which is a good service. Basically, like all they put out was gamma squeeze. Like anytime the market goes up, it's a gamma squeeze, or down, gamma squeeze. Like it's like I don't know. And the thing is, there's very little gamma. I mean, because these are uncharted territory with not a lot of options. What I want to talk about for at least 1 minute here is the VIX and volatility being this low and nobody paying for any type of protection. And I'll tell you a quick 1 minute story. So when I was at Spear Leads and Kellogg, I ran their index derivatives book and I ran the firm hedge. So what that meant was I would get a call. This would never happen today. I would get a call because we were taking in stock, as the specialist on the floor to New York and NASDAQ, taking in a ton of stock. And they're like, listen, we got to buy, back then it was a lot, $300 million notional, not billions or trillions. And then I would, you know, you know, I would hedge the position. And then it got to the point where It was a hedge. We were supposed to lose on it. That was what it was there for, to protect us in case the world came to an end. And if the world came to an end, it would protect us. 6, 8 months in, I get the call, hey, we don't want to hedge anymore. We don't want to lose any money. So I think we're seeing a lot of that now. Now that was back in 99. It was like 94 to 99, 2000 before the crash. But that's what we're seeing now. Nobody is buying hedges. Nobody is protected to the downside. They don't want to waste the money. So we see a lot of that. Anyway, we're in the last minute.
Well, it's a similar setup to what we saw in May, where implied vol on the calls is going up, but implied vol on the puts is going down. Usually they'll move in sync. Now they're alligator jawsing. And just like
Anyway,
after May it
we're
came,
getting the cut sign. So we're gonna cut. Remember to like and subscribe. Trading with Larry on YouTube. I would talk another half hour. We're getting the cut sign. So I hope we put people in position to make money today. We talked macro, and I wish
20
everybody.
point 20 point straddle this morning, folks. Don't expect much.
Is it exactly 20? I saw it was
Yeah,
higher than that. It's
but
not
20.
20.
It's
It's
20.
probably 25. All right. You're saying 20, and I don't believe it's 20. But,
Okay.
well, what's the price on the put and the call? The strike is 90, basically.
1050 by 10.
Okay. So we got a zero straddle. Time to go home and enjoy the family anyway. Peace and have a great trading day, everyone.